Hola a todos. Today we'll look at ser versus estar and also vocabulary related to the professions. First, let's take a look at present progressive. So that's going to be a present tense form of estar, one verb. Okay, as a helping verb, we're going to have the present participle of another verb, which is formed by dropping the ending and adding ando to AR verbs and yendo to ER-IR verbs. Okay, present progressive. So hablar would become hablando. Comer would become comiendo, and so forth. And of course, you have to use the star. Por ejemplo, ¿qué está haciendo? What is he doing? ¿Qué está haciendo este hombre? Está tocando la guitarra. ¿Y este hombre? ¿Qué está haciendo? El verbo es vender, to sell. Está vendiendo globos, balloons. ¿Y la mujer? La mujer está comprando un globo. ¿Qué están haciendo? Los jóvenes están hablando. ¿Y el niño? ¿Qué está haciendo con el gato? Está jugando con el gato. ¿Y el hombre? El hombre está leyendo el periódico. ¿Y la niña? ¿Qué está haciendo? La niña está hablando por teléfono. ¿Y el niño? El niño está comiendo helado. Finalmente, este hombre, ¿qué está haciendo? Está tomando un café. También se puede decir está bebiendo un café. Ahora, primera actividad. So this is the first activity that you can pause and complete on today's worksheet. Pregunta 1. ¿Qué estás haciendo a las 8 de la mañana? So what are you doing? What action is in progress for you at 8 o'clock this morning? For me, I was sleeping still. Okay, I got up at 8:30. Entonces, a las 8 de la mañana estoy durmiendo. At 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm sleeping. Okay, what are you doing at 8 o'clock at night? ¿Qué estás haciendo a las 8 de la noche? Okay, in my case, I'm usually preparing dinner. A las 8 de la noche estoy preparando la cena. Estoy cocinando, es decir. Okay, so you can pause and answer these and move on when you're ready. Vamos a la página 151, page 151. We're going to take a look at ser y estar. Ok, dice, mira el video otra vez, después lee parte de la conversación entre Camila y Vanessa y observa los usos de los verbos ser y estar. A ver el video. Okay, let's take a look at the questions. What are the uses of estar you've learned so far? Find examples in the paragraph. So what we learned as far as the uses for estar goes is to express emotions or conditions, to indicate location, and as part of the present progressive. Let's take a look. Estoy preparando comida. Okay, so this would be an example of the present progressive. So we have a form of estar plus a present participle. Rodrigo está en casa. This would be an example of location. ¿Cómo estás tú, Vanessa? Estoy muy feliz. And this would be an example expressing condition. Pregunta número 2. Look at the verb ser in the paragraph. What are the different ways in which it's used? Well, in this paragraph, we are seeing ser being used to identify who someone is, to describe characteristics, to tell where someone is from, and to tell time. So let's take a look. ¿Cómo son tus suegros? Would be describing somebody. What are they like? Son simpáticos. Bueno, él es de Uruguay. He's from Uruguay. So this is origin. Es de. Y bien. Es mi artista favorito. To identify. ¿Qué hora es? What time is it? Son las 3:30. To talk about time. Okay, let's review those one more time. Sarah's used to describe characteristics. Okay, what somebody's like. The man is tall. El hombre es alto. The woman is pretty. La mujer es guapa, and so forth. To identify relationships. Por ejemplo, Janina es mi esposa. Occupations. Por ejemplo, soy instructor de español. Nationality. Soy estadounidense. I'm American. Okay, así se dice, estadounidense. Soy estadounidense. Also to express origin. Soy de Iowa. No soy de Texas. ¿Y tú? ¿De dónde eres tú? To express possession. Por ejemplo, esta es mi clase. Also to say the date and time. Today's April 14th. Bueno, es el 14 de abril. Time is about 2:30 at the moment, I think. Son las 2:30 de la tarde. Bueno, we use a star to indicate location. Por ejemplo, ahora estoy en mi casa, no estoy en la escuela. To express an emotional, mental, or physical state of being. Por ejemplo, en este momento estoy contento, relativamente. Also the form of the present progressive. En este momento, right now, en este momento estoy trabajando. Okay, there's also differences between ser and estar used with these different adjectives. And take note of this list. I just wrote the final exam, and we will have a couple questions dealing with this. Estar aburrido significa to be bored, mientras ser aburrido is to be boring. It's to be a boring person. Él es una persona aburrida. Ser. Whereas I'm talking about the condition, a passing condition of being bored, that's estar. Same thing here. To be happy, estar alegre, is an emotion, a passing condition. We're going to use estar. If we talk about somebody who's a happy person, you know, they're just generally happy all the time, and we want to say that and they're happy as a person, not as a passing condition, that's when we're going to use ser. Estar bueno, estar malo, to be in good or bad taste. Ser bueno, ser malo is to be, generally speaking, if you want to describe something as good or bad, as a permanent trait. Okay? An example of this might be, and it's used a lot with food, for example, estas hamburguesas están muy buenas. Okay, these are good hamburgers. Similar concept here. We look at ser guapo, and we want to say somebody as they typically are. Okay, if somebody's handsome, just generally speaking, it's considered to be a permanent trait. Now, let's say somebody's on a date and they get dressed up, maybe made up or whatever, and they look, you know, especially good right then. That is when you would use this. Okay, mi esposa estaba muy guapa en la boda, or something along these lines. Okay, she was very pretty right then. It's a result of having gotten prepared and so forth, not just comment on whether she is or isn't normally. Okay, we get the idea. Bueno, estar listo, to be ready. Ser listo, to be clever. Estar rico, to be delicious, as in food, and we were talking about that. You know, it's the same thing. You can use that with food, but rico is used with food also too. Okay, and used with things as well. Ser rico is to be a rich person. Okay, so take note of these differences. Okay, so as I mentioned, we'll have a couple of questions about that on the quiz. And here we have some examples that you can read through as well. Okay, actividad, ser o estar. Okay, in this case, you're just simply selecting between the two. You've got 5 questions. You can pause here and complete the worksheet and continue on whenever you're ready. Okay, we're going to go to page 158 at this point, página 158, vocabulario. Okay, un momento. Proposición e-text es Exploraciones Léxicas 2. Y dice, Luisa es fotógrafa y celebra un aniversario de su graduación con sus compañeros. ¿Qué ocupaciones tienen ellos? Okay, repeticiones corales, primero yo, luego tú. el médico, la cocinera, el asistente de vuelo, el pintor, el piloto, el actor, el policía, el científico, el deportista, la fotógrafa, el mecánico, el músico, la enfermera, la mesera, las profesiones y ocupaciones, el abogado, la actriz, el agente de viajes, el amo de casa, el arquitecto, el bailarín, la bailarina, el cantante, el contador, el consejero, el dependiente, el diseñador, el escritor, el ingeniero, el jefe, la jefa, el maestro, el modelo. One thing I wanted to point out is we do see, okay, so we're using el for the masculine model, la for the feminine model, but note that there is no change in ending. So it'll be el modelo, la modelo. Okay, we're going to see the same thing here, as in there is no change. We'll use a different article to distinguish between the masculine and feminine noun, but there'll be no change in ending. Whereas when you see these in parentheses, there is going to be a change in ending. So this would be el cantante, la cantante, whereas this would be el consejero, la consejera. Okay? Now, in this case, what do I want to point out here? Yeah, el abogado, la abogada, and so forth. Okay? Yeah, this one's a bit different, in which case it's el amo de casa, which would be a male homemaker, el ama de casa, female homemaker. Okay? And the article will not change, but the ending will in that case. Okay, so we have a number of different varieties here. I believe I was here. El periodista, el político, el psicólogo, el secretario, el trabajador social, el vendedor, el veterinario, el cliente, la entrevista, ganar, la solicitud, el sueldo, el trabajo. Muchas palabras. Bueno. Información adicional. So, asistente de vuelo is a good general term, but you also hear el azafata, la azafata, and el auxiliar de vuelo. Another word for el mesero is el camarero, okay, which is used a lot in Spain. The words piloto, modelo, as I mentioned, will always end in O, regardless of gender. Professions that end in OR add an A for the feminine form. For ejemplo, vendedor, vendedora. Trabajador, trabajadora. Professions that end in ista do not change for gender, and that'll be for any word that ends in ista, by the way. El artista, la artista, el dentista, la dentista, el turista, la turista, and so forth. In general, by the way, we're not going to use articles when we're talking about professions. Mariano es deportista. Así. Okay. Now, if I had an adjective in here, for example, it could be, I don't know, like deportista talentoso. Okay. Then I might use an article there. Mariano es un deportista talentoso. Okay. So when we add the adjective, we do want to have an article there. Okay, let's go back to the textbook. Página 159, 159. Actividad 519, donde trabajan. Ok, van a emparejar esta columna con esta columna. Y es el último ejercicio. Gracias por mirar. Adiós.